On today's show, the guys are talking value, and in particular about detention and the East Initiative, all coming up on EduTechGuys. EduTechGuys Radio, radio.edutechguys.com.
The opinions expressed under the site and its programs are those of participants and not intended to and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of any specific educational entity, sponsor, company, state, or government agency.
So yeah, I was on Instagram, on the old social media the other night, and everybody likes to post, and we do too, everybody likes to post some quotes or some ideas. And I saw a post by one of a good principal friend of ours in the EdTech thing, and it was a selfie of him, and he had this kind of just negative look on his face. And the caption was, "These kids in detention better get it together," And I thought, that's a really interesting thing, is that if a kid's in detention, after school, or a kid's in, say, math or reading or some literacy program or something like that, because they need, that after school.
Sure.
So if they're there, it means they didn't find value during the day. That's what got them there in the first place. So they couldn't find value in education or value in, just being there. Why am I here at school? Why do I need math? Why do I need literacy? But our attempt then is that we put them in after school and we do math and literacy, or we just put you in detention. So there the question is, how do we make sure that that's providing value? And if it's supposed to be a different setting, which it is,
right?
It's like it's maybe a little more one-on-one, or it's a complete different setting. It's a little more, easy going and laid back. So I thought, that's the perfect opportunity then for technology integration at a different level. So those kids that might be in detention, let's just pick detention.
Okay.
So
all right.
let's say
we'll
after school detention.
Okay.
So that means that I didn't find value in something to do with the daily social element of school, or the day-to-day behavior norms of school.
Right.
So I've been put into detention. Okay, so that means I probably have issues with expressing myself or dealing with groups or social behavior. Okay, well, great. So now we're in a really interesting place with tech integration. So let's integrate with that kid, that kiddo, that, hey, let's do a social thing. Just you and me, let's build some social things. Let's create a Twitter account for you. You're a high school kid. Or let's talk about what you would post on Twitter if you were going to post stuff. What would make you feel good about yourself and you think would help other people? Where do you see yourself coming? Or let's use Flipgrid and make a video, about this kind of stuff. Am I getting too crazy there?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, who knows? I mean, part of me is like, I'm okay. So let me give my context.
Okay.
All right. When I was in, I can't remember, 5th or 6th grade, but I remember. Now, actually, it was probably a little older than that. But anyway, maybe 6th grade. I digress. But I got detention because I wouldn't do my stupid spelling homework, like, I don't know, whatever it was, 3 days in a row, 4 days in a row, whatever. Who gives a crap? And that was it, right? I saw no value in doing my spelling homework.
Right.
So I'm thinking, okay, if I were a student today, if I were me at that age and I did the exact same thing, I'm not doing my stupid spelling homework. This is ridiculous. I know how to spell. I can spell. Why do I got to do the stupid homework? And I don't do it. I don't turn it in, whatever, blah, blah, and I get detention. So now I'm in detention, and you're going to come to me and say, hey, let's make a Flipgrid video on
spelling words. Or let's do.
But I'm in detention because I hate spelling. I don't give a crap about spelling.
So you're right. So that's what I'm wondering. Is there a way to use Buncee or Nearpod or whatever we got to use?
Sure.
Seesaw or Brain Pop or whatever. How do we use that so that the kids go, oh, I find value in this now, that I want to do my spelling words, because that also leads into something else. I mean, because think about everything we've ever done in our lives leads us into something else that we want to do. I've got to do this to get to this,
You hope anyway.
I must buy up all the railroads to make the money from them on the monopoly board. It's something's got to happen. But that's what was making me think. And I don't know, maybe this isn't even a technology question. We like to integrate technology. But,
right.
And I know a lot of schools, a lot of people are listening going, but yes, that's what we do. After school, we use Renaissance Learning, or we use, Star Reader, Star Math. That's how we tell what these kids are doing. And we're using these, software services or web-based services or even educational games to get kids a little more. But see, there's the thing. Does an educational game for spelling provide value to a student?
Well, that's funny, because as you were going down that list, I'm like, it's really funny. In that list, and I'm not knocking any of those programs. I'm sure they're great at what they are used for.
Oh, yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, their goal, the things that they're trying to achieve, I'm sure they're great at. Okay. But going to the value question, and not just value in terms of what the students get out of it, but what the students could turn around and put into it as value. And so in my brain, taking the first part of the conversation, saying, what if we did something socially, or like you said, Flipgrid, or who knows, a Twitter account, or whatever it is, an Instagram post, whatever we're making. We're going to make our own meme, and it's about spelling, whatever, who knows.
Right.
You get that student to start thinking about it from that other direction. And again, I'm going to think how I was when I was a kid. I can tell you right now that if I was approached with that, the first time that was approached, I'd be like, yeah, right. I'm going to blow this. This is ridiculous. But if you had me do that, even after the detention, right? I only got detention once, but after that, as a follow-up, if you kept saying, well, hey, we did that spelling thing, and frankly, don't even address the fact that I blew the whole thing off and I sucked at it or whatever. Show it to me online, because that'll probably embarrass me enough to where I'd be like, oh God, yeah, I blew that. That was stupid. But B, I might be of the mindset to say, if you come back to me and you say, hey, David, you know what? We did those spelling things, and actually that kind of helped some students. Would you mind if we did this week's spelling? Could you make a Flipgrid or whatever it is, a post about this week's spelling words? Oh, yeah, I guess. And guess what? Over time, I'm getting the value, because what am I doing? Well, I'm having to learn the spelling words from not the rote, here it is, the list on the page, why do I got to write these words 900 times?
Right.
I'm actually speaking them, spelling them, doing whatever's involved with whatever project we've got going on. But then I'm building the value because
you're learning
podcasting So I'm learning those skills, presentation skills and whatever technical skills. But then also it's that, oh my gosh, my friends are going to see this, or my parents are going to see this, or you get some of that as well. At least I would hope. Yeah. So I don't know. It's funny, when we first started this conversation, I was kind of like, this is ridiculous. But the more we've kind of talked it out, I'm like, this may not be so ridiculous.
And here's the thing, entrepreneurs, and we've always talked about value. Everybody talks about what's the value and value. Sure. And you think about, and there's a definition that's a broad definition of value. I mean, you would question, why does that person buy a $300,000 car when, a $17,000 car will get them back and forth to work and do the same thing?
Right.
So, but that person finds value in that car for whatever reason that is to them. Why do you continue using a notebook and write everything? I find value in, my handwriting and blah, blah, blah. Everyone's got to find that. So, and I think that's what we do as educators, is we help them find value in their education and value in learning that. It's like, a lot of boys out there can say, especially our generation, can say that we were punished a lot where go mow the yard or go rake the yard.
Right.
Risky business. Great movie. What was his punishment at the end? We don't care what you did. Get out there and rake the yard. And the end of the movie is him raking the yard.
Right.
But there's a really interesting thing is how many guys went out and started mowing the yard because they had to. I'm in trouble. I've got to go mow the yard. But learned that I mow the yard pretty good. Yeah, I'm pretty fast at it. I do a really good job. Mm-hmm. And the value I find in mowing the yard now is I can make a living at it, or it's my summer job, or, I like working on lawnmowers. I mean, and so to me, thinking after school, thinking the whole process, a lot of kids build their own intrinsic value system, so we don't have to worry about that.
Right.
But those kids after school, we have an extra opportunity here to find out, to dwell down into it, work our way into it and find out, okay, let's get him doing this, but then let's make sure we help them understand there's other values inside that. Yeah. Where the ed tech comes in is just we have so many more opportunities now. Because the world is a great big entrepreneurial ed tech, bowl of Skittles that are ready for everybody to stick their hand into.
Right.
And so, you're finding these kids that, and I can think of a lot of kids that I know and that are young. They're not kids anymore. They're young adults, and some of them are middle-aged adults that I've taught because I've been doing it a long time.
Sure.
They were the ones in after-school detention. They were the ones that could see no reason of doing homework whatsoever. So, and that was back before we had the technology that we did today.
Right.
But a lot of them, it was the tech that got them into what they're doing now.
Sure. Well,
and it was what took them out of that, bad behavior or attendance problem or tardiness, not doing homework, insubordination, whatever that is. There is another venue to get their hands, active.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and we see just in school in general, we have seen with the push for things like coding and makerspace and robotics and just, I guess I'll throw out the word STEM processes and STEM concepts, targeted. We have seen students, and you hear stories all the time of students who, little Johnny was just, bad kid, quote unquote, who was in trouble all the time and And so, we asked him to, come over and take a look at the robotics, or he just showed up one day, or as a punishment, he was put into this class because unfortunately that's what happens with a lot of these quote unquote extra classes is, you get, it doesn't matter who's interested, not interested. You get some students who are just pushed in there because, folks don't know what to do with them. So that's what they do with them. And then it turns out that this quote unquote bad Johnny is suddenly excelling at whatever they're doing, at 3D printing original works, at creating, at programming the class robot to do things that nobody thought even possible. They didn't even think about it. And Johnny over here is like, hey, wait, what if I do this?
Right.
And suddenly they are finding that value. And so by extension to the central idea of this conversation, sometimes maybe we need to rethink what those after-school things are. Again, if we focus on detention, then maybe we need to rethink what is detention.
Right. What a word, detention.
Right.
But and there's interesting. You mentioned that, like, we put him in here and he learns this thing, and then he goes through the banquet at the end of the year. We give him a blue ribbon and a certificate, and at the end of school we go, here's your high school diploma. You did a great job. See you later. I think we miss the opportunities to go, hey, you know what you just learned to do? Here's 27 things you could do with that.
Yeah.
There's the value. Now, pick one of those, because one of those is going to go, hey, that's a value to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just, you could be a blah, 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 or you could be an engineer, or you could be that. It could be, you could do this, and you could make your own money, and you could live anywhere you wanted to. You could live at the beach if you wanted to. Don't you like to skateboard? You think you like to surf? You live at the beach. I mean, I don't think we have those. I don't think we have the value conversation enough with the kids, because value is not just one thing. It's like, when I plant this value, what roots grow out of it and what springs up out of the top of it? Because it's a multi-limbed, multi-flowering, topic, value.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, I thought this would be a great conversation today because, I mean, we don't have all the answers. We never do. We have a lot to. We think we do.
Yeah. We usually raise more questions and hackles than anything else.
Yeah, it's like, well, now we have to have 7 episodes on value. Crap, But no, I like to throw it out to the listeners. Think about what you got and share that with us. We say this all the time. Let us know what you think about this, but please do let us know what you think about this. Does it warrant more discussion? Would you like to come on the show and talk to us about it?
Yeah,
because if you'd like to come on this show, hey, go out to www.edutechguys.com, go down to the bottom of the page, fill out the form, and get in touch with us. Or just email Jeff or David at edutechguys.com.
That's right. And we're actually working on a new way that you'll be able to share your thoughts with us. We're actually starting to work with and play around with the Anchor.fm platform, which actually allows you to respond to episodes via audio. So you can actually record your responses. We're not quite ready for that yet at the time we're recording this and this is coming out, but as we figure out more about it and we start rolling that out, we'll definitely be sharing that out on all of our social media, twitter.com/EduTechGuys, Facebook/EduTechGuys, as we always say, Google EduTechGuys and you'll find us. And so we're trying to find other ways to help you share with us your thoughts, suggestions, questions, problems, and horror stories.
And along with that, try out Anchor.fm. Take a look at it. The app's really cool. It's online also.
Yeah.
If you want to jump into the podcasting pool, there's a really great way to do it with Anchor Audio. There's plenty of room in the deep end. Jump on in.
That's right.
Or you can wait around in the shallow end. We're kind of in the deep end. We're holding on to each other in a life preserver, trying to keep our heads from going under. But, there is plenty of room in the podcasting arena. So try it out. Anchor.fm. Really cool piece. We think we'll see a lot of uses for it in the future from us and for our listeners and educators in general.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to know which one of us is on the door. Which one's floating away?
Oh, I'll be the one going underwater.
Oh, yeah.
You get to be Rose.
Do I get to be Rose?
Yeah. La, da, 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 da. Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. All right. All the ship sinking and songs aside, we've got a new update ready to go. So thank you very much to Spencer and the folks at East. Here is the East Initiative update.
Hello, everyone. I'm Spencer Watson with the East Initiative. Welcome to the East Update. On the last update, you heard about a group of elementary school students working to print a set of prosthetic thumbs for a classmate who was born without them. That elementary students would undertake such a sophisticated work may surprise some people, but not anyone familiar with East, including 4 graduate students from the University of Arkansas Clinton School of Public Service. Nora Vinas, Karen Zuccardi, Adriana Ongai, and Rebecca Weber are this semester working with the East Initiative on their practicum exercise, a field research project that is a required part of the Clinton School curriculum. They have 2 goals.
The deliverables that the schools will see, the administrators and the facilitators, are about the best practices that we find, like this is what works well and this is what we found doesn't. Those are recommendations we're giving to the schools. And then internally we're giving East some recommendations on research questions that they might ask in the future. So it's kind of a twofold project.
So far, the team has developed survey questionnaires with the hope of helping to develop some ideas on best practices.
We're going to be interviewing administrators and facilitators to kind of find out from both sides of the program the best ways to run the elementary school East initiatives. We're going to be using the data that we get out of the interviews to kind of figure out what the commonalities between the most successful programs are for the elementary level and then the least successful, and basing our recommendations off of that.
The graduate students began their work last semester with site visits to a number of different East programs.
We don't have any preconception of this must work this way in order to be successful. We have been just going to different schools, seeing what they are doing, comparing to other schools, and this ability of just observing has triggered questions.
Questions, they said, like how in the world do East facilitators get their kids to be so engaged? Observing provided some answers.
There's a lot of organizing and preparation that goes behind that method of just kind of being hands-on, because you have to master how to guide the students to get there and how to do it, how to get them to, how to encourage and motivate them and give them the resources to do it on their own, kind of through like developing self-discipline. So
I think something I've noticed in our observations and what I've been reading from the literature, it's very much a facilitator asks more questions than just talking. If you're hearing your voice too much, then you're doing something wrong.
While a more scientific analysis will have to wait until the interviews are done and results are studied, the Clinton students said they've already had some favorite moments from visiting East's youngest students.
I mean, and these were like third graders and middle schoolers. And the sophistication was there, and they both got on computers once they figured out what they wanted to do and separated. They dealt with the task, they worked collaboratively, and I think that was amazing to see, because we usually say, like, children can't do that.
Yeah.
They can.
Yeah.
Of course they can. Amazing things happen when students aren't told no. And if you heard our last update, hearing one of these students talk about one of her favorite moments in visiting schools last semester may sound a little familiar.
In Carmen McBride's classroom, the brainstorming, I just found it so powerful how she created this environment where students were open and willing to share any idea, whether it was just really out there and may not be doable or feasible, to, wow, we can really do this and implement this project. And never said no directly, kind of got them to come to their own conclusions. And I thought that was just so powerful. And, you know, continuing that throughout their education is only going to help them.
That kind of empowerment is important, said the graduate students, especially for a program that preaches community involvement, a factor that drew one of these researchers to want to work with East in the first place, even though she admits to being slightly intimidated by the technology aspect.
It was the community service aspect. That's something that I've always held very valuable, and I've always believed it's very important. So that's definitely why I listed it within like my top 3. Similar to Nora, I don't know much about technology. So this is putting me out of my comfort zone. I think that is one of, that is the point of practicum. You do get out of your comfort zone, you learn new skills, you push your limits. So I'm really excited to be here to kind of combine technology, which I'm not too savvy on, and community service, which is something I really enjoy.
The group's work, interviews, analysis, and deeper research questions to follow, is scheduled to be concluded by the end of this spring semester. In the meantime, they're very excited about what lies ahead.
We are excited every Tuesday to come in, and we are excited to find out more about this. And when we read, we always have in mind is, not only elementary kids or middle school, but how can we implement what we are currently reading into the benefit or for the better of things.
If you are interested in knowing more about the East Initiative, from information on student projects to the professional development services we offer to educators of all kinds, please visit www.eastinitiative.org or just search for East Initiative on social media. If you are interested in finding out how to get an East classroom for a school near you, please contact eastinfo@eaststaff.org. That is EASTINFO@EASTSTAFF.org. Special thanks to Nora Vinas, Karen Zuccardi, Adriana Ongai, and Rebecca Weber of the Clinton School of Public Service. The music you've been hearing is called Watch Out by Matthew Norris of East at Greenbrier High School. Again, I'm Spencer Watson, and that's the East Update.
Hey, thanks, Spencer. That was great. We always love hearing from the East Initiative. In fact, you can catch us live at the East Conference. Excited about it.
Yeah,
we'll be in Hot Springs at the East Conference, interviewing teachers and students. And Matt Dozier is going to sing either the Google Tip of the Week theme song or whatever Matt Dozier wants to. I was on Facebook last night. Big congratulations to those guys. They won the Arkansas Business of the Year Award for nonprofit organization last night at the banquet.
That is awesome. I did not realize.
So
that.
I was congratulating them, and he was like, he couldn't wait, thanks and everything, and he was warming up his vocal cords to tell David to be ready for it. And I was like, sing off.
We're throwing down.
So
a Google Tip of the Week sing off.
A Google tip of the week sing-off. So he might come with a full orchestra. Who knows?
Well.
If he does a Frankie Sinatra thing, that'll be great. But no, you can catch us at the East Conference in March. We'll be there in Hot Springs, and we're looking forward to that. Hot Springs, Arkansas. You can also catch us this summer at several venues. Just check the website. Our calendar is now bulking up pretty heavy. We're getting a lot of invites. We'll be in Springdale. We'll be at Histy.
Yeah.
We'll be a lot of places. We don't have them in front of us right now, so we're not going to tell you the dates. You just go to the website and you can look it up.
That's right. That's right. Go to edutechguys.com and go to the I don't even remember where that is off the top of my head.
It's on the
about conferences or I don't know.
I tell you, we'll put it right out front.
We'll share it with you. But by the same token, if you've got an event, either some kind of a conference or something you're doing at your school or in your district, or if you are a host of a national event or regional event and you'd like us to come and provide live podcast coverage where we sit down and we get your participants and your presenters and selected vendors to come share their story with everyone who's out there listening, let us know. Reach out to us, edutechguys.com, fill out the form on the first page, and we'll get back in touch with you.
Awesome. Hey, it's been a great show.
This has been great.
Hey, I'm Jeff Madlock.
I'm David Henderson.
We'll catch you next time.
You've been listening to EduTech Guys Radio, radio.edutechguys.com.
The opinions expressed on the site and its programs are those of participants and not intended to and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of any specific educational entity, sponsor, company, state, or government agency.